Now let's talk about exporting images and movies. So as we're working in ZBrush, we may want to export a render that we've done. So if we just do a quick render, to get an image out, we just go to Document. So let's finish this image, finish rendering. We can go up to Document, and we can export this. Go to our project files, and then, for instance, if we want to export this as a JPEG, it'll give us a little indicator here. We can change some of the JPEG settings. We can say OK, and that'll export that out as an image. Now we can also export movies. So we could export a movie of us working. So we could just record a movie. We could export, have a snapshot. We could create a turntable, or movies that are based on the history. And so it's basically going to be a big bucket where you can put all of these sort of movies in, and then you could export that out. So for instance, if we wanted to do a turntable, we could come down to our modifiers. Okay, we've got things that we can choose, like the frame size, the recording frames per second, and so forth. So we can come down to the spin frames, and if we wanted to go all the way around, we could say, okay, I want to have 360 frames per cycle, and then one cycle. So we would have basically one frame for every degree. And then you can calculate how long that animation would actually be based on the frames per second. Okay. So you can see here that we've got it set to Y. So that's the axis around which it would spin. So if we wanted to then do a turntable, we could just hit turntable, and it would start recording the turntable. And because we have BPR turned on, each frame is going to be rendered like that. So we go through and render, and then turn the model a little bit, render again, and basically kind of doing a batch render and saving that into this sort of queue. So let me go ahead and pause the video, and I'll let it calculate a few more of these videos just so we can see what's happening. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got. I've gone ahead and gone back to our just regular view, so it kind of speeds things up a little bit. And so once we've got our movie added, we can go ahead and play the movie. And that shows our turntable. You can also set what parts of the interface that you're seeing and things like that. So this is set into this bucket. So now we could come in and say, okay, and now I want to get some snapshots. So come in here and let's take a snapshot. And then maybe over here, take another one. Maybe up here like that. And so we can come down and change things like your, like your overlay image. So you can change your overlay if you want to. And then if we kind of play this back, you can see the animation, and then you're going to have a bunch of quick frames in there. And it's going to end really quickly. And so what we can do then is export this. And so we would then just go ahead and export. And then you can save your movie as an MPEG. So again, it's basically just a bucket that you're putting things like your, you can record yourself, record back through your history of an object and have that play back. It's all kind of appended to each other in this big movie bucket, and then you can export that movie and save it out to your hard drive. So the next thing we'll talk about is UV and map creation. That's one thing we haven't really touched on. So let's talk about that next.